Welcome back to the Global Teach Ag Network Food Safety Foundations of Food Safety module. I we lastly have seen what food safety is. Now we're going to follow food safety all the way from the farm to the last consumer fork. What are some of the potential concerns in it? In this whole section, we'll see the different concerns of it, what the burdens of it, and where does it potentially originally from, and how can we best protect ourselves from it? Now, starting with why does it matter? Why should we care? Why should we be worried about food safety? Why should we be learning about food safety? Why should we be trying to protect ourselves from food safety concerns? Why should we be worried? Why is this important? About 600 million people a year, that's it, 1 in 10 people globally falls ill from eating contaminated food. This is a big number, and I'll put it in perspective. So if you were around a table in your family of 10 and we're like, okay, now choose one of you is going to fall ill from eating contaminated food, like, are you willing to choose a person and say, all right, you can get sick? It's hard, but it's real, and it happens all around us every day. It's so many people that fall sick from consuming contaminated food, and an estimated amount of like 420,000 people die. And granted, most of the foodborne illness cases might clear themselves out, but so many of these cases also end into significantly hard symptoms that are not easy to clear, with 420,000 people dying from eating contaminated food. This is not only a public health concern in a case of epidemiology, but this is also an economic concern. There is so much money, $110 billion. It is lost in productivity and medical expenses from unsafe food in low and middle income countries. It is very important for low and middle income countries, and also like high income earning countries, to make a lot of money, but losing about 110 billions in people's productivity because people are sick, or people are getting cured, and medical expenses from the consumption of unsafe food is a high amount of money. And it shows you significantly how important this lack of food safety concern burdens not just the public health and epidemiology part, but also the economics part of the country, because it's not just about being sick, it's getting treatment for it, it's not being able to go to work that comes with it, and so much more. Now, again, there is four currently been already reported multi-state foodborne outbreaks in the United States currently. Four of them are coming with the fresh basil outbreak that was linked to salmonella. There is also the raw cheese. We've just seen a lot of dairy products getting recalled because of the E. coli and Listeria monocytogenesis in cheeses. And then there is a lot of like charcuterie meat and ready-to-eat meat that's been recalled also due to the salmonella infection, the salmonella contamination. And this is not just a US problem. There is outbreaks all over the world. Last year in Mexico, 300 people got sick from eating cantaloupe fruit that was contaminated with salmonella. Same case in Kenya. It is also reported, I think at that point in 2023, when it was reported, around 4 people had died, with 600 people sick in two big high schools in Kenya. And it shows you that this is not a US problem, it's not a Kenyan problem, it's not a Mexican problem, it's all over us. The reporting, granted, is not the same all over the place, but it is everywhere. It surrounds everyone, and we get big outbreaks of contaminations of the foods that we're consuming. Again, aflatoxin contamination. This is a toxin that is produced by a mold known as Aspergillus. Be sure to check out the introduction to mycotoxins module as well. But yeah, aflatoxin this is a toxin that's linked to a mold that contaminates significantly grains. It's been linked to epidemiologically to child stunting and liver cancers all over the world. This shows you how much of a burden eating food that's not safe creates. And to the people, and it is a global concern. Again, you can't talk about multi-outbreaks and contaminations of the food without talking about this food will have to get recalled. And remember, the goal is we're trying to feed everyone healthy, nutritious, and safe food. But one of the biggest things about food security, again, is having access. But if the food is getting wasted because it's contaminated and it can't be consumed and it needs to get gotten rid of, we're losing tomatoes to the contamination of bacteria. We're losing grains to the contaminations of molds. We're losing different foods before it gets on the table, that there is less food that's accessible for people to eat. So crop that is contaminated by these pathogens is lost. So, and we can't consume it, or is wasted because it can't be safely consumed. So that shows you how much safety significantly also affects security, because there is less access, it's not food secure. And then again, in a world where we don't have enough food, we don't want to lose more food to microorganism contamination. But it's also the recalls that comes with it. Like there was lots of recalls of different ready-to-eat meat products and cheeses and in the United States. And these numbers are also like all over the place. But I feel like the United States is also better at like tracing back and reporting all of these different cases, but these are also seen, available, and reported everywhere. Then with the recalls, again, we're losing food. The food gotta get off the shelf and we can't buy the food, and that's less access again. So there's no security at it. And then the consumption of unsafe food, I think that's the one part that no one thinks about. People getting sick and consuming unsafe food because it's what we have is not food security, because food security refers to the food that you're eating utilizable. If it is unsafe, if it is full of molds, if it is full of mycotoxins, because that's what you can't afford, or you can't get rid of it, and it's distributed in places where people cannot buy more food, then it is not utilizable, and that's not food security. So long story short, there is really no food security without ensuring food safety, because food at the end of the day will have to be safe for food security to be achieved. And yeah, that's the end of our introduction of the different burdens that comes with the lack of food security, where we talked about the different epidemiological and public health concerns, economical concern, as well as the lack of ensuring food security. Then we're now going to proceed into looking at different foodborne pathogens and the diseases that they're potentially causing, and what foods are they mostly probably into. Thank you.